Hey, good evening, folks. This is Tony Montana. As you can see, my dogs are just nice and relaxing. You know, some people don't understand where we live, where we have to advance as people, advance as, how we handle our dogs with the DNA they have, with the traits they have, with the drive they have. You know, like I said to many people, I have them this way. They understand. They. Oops, sorry about that. They they do well. They do well with my cat indoors. Um, and obviously with each other, not so well some of the time. I have to be there to be the referee to make sure that like the pack. I truly react like a pack leader. I get in the middle of things when I think getting it, and I keep looking at each other. I go through the motions. Like I said, since they're babies. I've had these dogs since they're babies. I've had them since they were like the length of your hand. Okay, all of them. They've slept with me on my bed since that time. Okay, so they've seen me as their everything. So what I do with them is because a lot of it is because I raised them. I couldn't do this with any strange adult animal. I've tried it actually, and it just has a different, I guess, different levels of success. But the best is when their brain is connected early. But anyway, this is a really more of an answer. Actually, I like this Socrates 49. Again, asked me a question that I really enjoy, basically asking about inbreeding. Uh, but this is basically what he wrote. Inbreeding is a tool, if used properly, can help. However, if abused, you will get a lot of junk. Okay, so that is completely true. It is a great tool, and if you mess up, it just becomes junk. Okay, and this is another important part that he mentioned. If a breeder is using this, he needs to do it judiciously. And again, if I'm reading it correctly, if I'm understanding it correctly, yes, I am also in agreement. You know, so but and what I want to say is that I'm in agreement with it. Uh, that inbreeding is a great tool to use to hone into the traits trait that you're looking for, or you covet the most. Covet meaning desire. So what you desire the most, you can probably, if it had it, obviously the family of dove had that trait. You can hone into it by inbreeding. But obviously, when you inbreed, you get a lot of defects, and obviously you get defects of flow, and obviously the things traits that you're looking for. So the breeder has to be very, very harsh in his culling process, because there is going to be a lot of defects that he needs to cull, so that even though he continues to inbreed, because this is the difference here. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm starting to see defects. I am going to breed out, look for an out." And I'm going to give you an example: the old family reds, the Irish old family reds. Okay, the animals, the Irish strains that came, obviously the Irish strains that were used to create the American Pit Bull Terrier. This is how they were created. Back in Ireland, from what I read, again, I wasn't there back in the day, where this is history. Back in Ireland, these individual dogs did not have the opportunity to breed with many dogs. Each family had a group of dogs, and they bred those dogs together, inbred, continue to inbreed. Defects did come out. Oops, sorry about that. Defects did come out. They, according to the understanding, they're bred out, meaning they call the bed traits the any bed trait. It could be physical or active. And how basically it's a lot of times you gotta wait until they're 3 years old. So those traits, those genetic defects, if there's genetic defects, are come very to fruition. So and eventually they bred out the inbreeding defects, and in this way became the all family reds that had no genetic defects despite being so inbred. Okay, and don't be confused. As far as I understand, the old family reds that we know today, from like Leitner, I'm bad with names. So Leitner, Wallace, I think there was another one. Um, McCullen, I think it's something like that. Those are the individuals that saw traits in the American Pit Bull Terrier that were throwbacks on the looks of the Irish Old Family Reds. And then some, not all of them, like Leitner, from what I understand, Leitner did not like that red nose. He preferred the black, the black nose. But the red nose kept winning, so he kept producing them. But Leitner did not really prefer the red nose, preferred the black nose. But best to best. So completely, I agree with you, Socrates 49, that inbreeding is a great tool if it's done correctly and religiously, and don't half-ass it. Go through it, because it's going to take a lot of time, a lot more time than just getting some hybrid vigor. Hybrid vigor is something that people always talk about as a great tool, but they forget that for example, the Irish Old Family Reds were known to be very game using the red nose is really the kind of like the it's not the dominant trait of a dog, so it is what it is. Anyway, this is Tony Montana. Thank you, Socrates 49, for the question. Signing off.